We have so much to cover in this video, folks. This is Tony. Hope you're all doing well. Actually, what's amazing is what's happened over the last 48 hours. We've had a number of stories come out, some regarding, of course, objects, unidentified ones, flying about. We have also stories about something happening over near the Euphrates River we're going to be getting into, and also actually a ton of other stories, something happening with a train, of course, in Ohio, and so much more. Even our economy, we're going to be getting into a little bit about our economy as well. The fact is, I mean, for instance, I showed this video over on my other channel. This is absolutely amazing. This is near the Euphrates River. As you can see, something of a sight right there. Right after the quake, that's what was one of the things that seemed to have happened. Right before that happened, of course, the birds were acting a little bit different, and this seems to happen quite a bit right before something like this happens. You can see here the birds flying about through the city in a very strange manner. All right, and so that was something that happened near the Euphrates River. I'm going to get into that much more over on my other channel, God Rules. But let's get over into some of these other stories. Let's talk a little bit about the fact that some of the banks are preparing for America to have a debt default. We've already seen a technical default, but now we're seeing that they're thinking it's coming very soon. America's second largest bank is preparing for it. And, you know, honestly, it's probably well overdue as it is. But the fact is, my question is, what is this going to lead into? Of course, they act as if everything's going to be hunky-dory. Nothing's going to happen with the economy whatsoever. Stock market's going to be fine. What recession are you talking about? There is no recession. You know, all that kind of stuff. So that's something rather curious. And, of course, we're seeing continuation of layoffs. All right, we have here Yahoo laying off 20% of its staff by year end. We're seeing tons of companies doing layoffs now. And it started all at Christmas. I told you guys that was completely an odd time for this all to start. So we're seeing that. But the fact is, we also have this, and this is absolutely amazing. So we had this guy call in to Sam's channel here. He lives in Ohio, and he's talking about what happened and how he can't go back to his home. He literally can't go back to his home. He's told that he's not allowed to. And now they're also going into people's basements and checking for things, because apparently whatever was inside, and actually I do know what it was that was on this train, it's a sort of cleaner stuff, okay? And when it reacts with water, it creates something that's used for like very heavy duty cleaning, you know, like tiles and things like that. And it could be something that rains down or gets into the water. And we're already seeing that that's the case with some of the videos that have been popping up on TikTok and other places. You can see fish here, not exactly swimming anymore, just a little bit downstream from that area.
Fish. Fish. I mean, these are minnows.
She was saying fish there, not ish, but so she was showing all these near where this happened. And what's absolutely amazing about this is there was a movie that was released about a week or so before this happened that's literally about the exact same thing. There's a movie on Netflix. I was going to watch it. My wife didn't want to watch it, so we didn't watch it. Called White Noise on Netflix. And actually, some of the actors in this movie live in the area where it happened. So they were in a movie about this happening in their states, in Ohio, with a train. Exact same thing. Everything the same, pretty much. And they were in this movie as actors, and they ended up living through it now. The exact same thing as the movie. And I guess you could say that's a weird coinkydink. Kind of feel like it isn't. Doesn't sound like it. And of course, there's actually been multiple trains of recent in various cities that have been derailed, which is really different. It's not the usual. And of course, trains are used for delivering goods. And of course, we've seen the shipping containers, what happened with that. That was like 6 months, a year ago. And now we've seen the entire ports shift. There's so much less being delivered over on the California side now. Then we have, of course, the trains that deliver. There's issues there. We're seeing prices of food go up. We're seeing inflation. It is kind of interesting. You know, is this natural? Is this something that just happened? I don't know. I kind of don't think so. That's kind of my thought on that. But so we're seeing all these things happen. And the one that's over in Euphrates, which is absolutely amazing, like I just showed you those videos, is I kind of feel like that's sort of a precursor to something. It talks about it in the good book. We're talking Revelation. It talks about this right here. Actually, I have it open. And it talks about it drying up. And we're starting to see it actually dry up. It's not really fully there. It's not fully dried up or anything. But there is some rather curious things that have been happening of recent. They've been finding various ancient sites underneath where the water used to be. And, you know, I'm not going to be getting into it in this video, but if you're curious about that, go check out my other channel. But before we go any farther, first I got to mention about some of the things we have in the description. Lost Ways, How Your Great-Great-Grandfather Lived Without Electricity, because you might be soon here. Considering all the wonderful things that have been happening over the last 2 years, you might want to get that book. It's only like $30-some. Get the printed version, obviously, because your computer might not work when you have no electricity. Link is in the description. Hundreds of pages illustrated. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is actually a PDF file. I guess if you wanted to, you could print it off and do it that way. I think that would probably be more expensive though than just buying it straight, because I don't know how much it costs to print stuff these days. But anyway, unless you can go to your office and print it off for free, I don't know. Anyway, link is in the description for that. But also, of course, food supply. We have this new deal where it's only $127, and so that's the smallest package they have. We also have, of course, the largest one, which, by the way, they used to actually have just the 3 months food supply for $7.97 in the past. But now they're including about 20 more items, a stove and a ton of other things, including more food as well. I would just say it's like basically 3.5 months worth of food plus about 20 items. Stoves, just all manner of stuff. Cooking and heating items, stainless steel mess, just tons of things. Water filtration. Link is in the description for that as well. And of course, gold and silver. And I was kind of thinking to myself, I'm wondering what's going to happen with the dollar. How long is it going to take for it to truly lose a lot of value? You know, honestly, it could take 2-3 years. But I mean, by that time frame, we could be saying that the dollar could literally be worth almost nothing. I don't know. But it's wise to get some gold and silver in the meantime while you're trying to get to that 2-3 years from now. Link is in the description for that as well. Let's get back to the video. So, of course, also we've had a number of objects that have been seen of recent. We've had, of course, our GOV within the last month started saying, oh, there's more of them. Folks, there's more of these objects in the sky. They've been around for 60 years. These unidentified, of course, objects have been around for 60 years. Okay? What are they? You know, are they from another planet? We don't know. Could it be from another dimension? We don't know that either. Could it just be us with some new technology they don't want us to tell? They don't want to tell us about it. You know, they've got some new flying vehicles that they don't want us to be aware of. That sounds like it could be it as well. You know, we don't know exactly what these are. But of course, now they're, sending, of course, jets after them and things like that. But they've been around for 60 years. They've been around for 60 years. It's not as if... That's why the story seems inconsistent to me. Because they're talking as if, oh, look, there's more of them. Look, 500 new reports. 500 new reports of them. And then they're talking like there's more activity with them. And now we got these balloons flying over. We got these objects. We got to deal with them. They've been there forever. People have been taking videos of these things forever. I mean, I've done videos like 5-10 years ago of them. I mean, literally over installations. Like literally over them. And we don't do anything about it back then. Now all of a sudden they're super important, paramount of importance. You know what I mean? I don't know what to really think of that. It just seems very inconsistent. Of course, the latest one was over Lake Huron near the Canadian border. And I kind of wonder if this is sort of to distract us from these other stories that I've already discussed with regards to that train. I kind of wonder if that's part of it. There's other things as well that they're talking about. Of course, we had, and this is interesting as well. This is another angle is, we obviously see what's going on with that WAR that's been going on for about a year now. We've seen how it hasn't ended. And of course, it includes the Ruslans. And we continually give, of course, supplies over there. And it's obviously getting bigger. It's becoming a world, WAR, from what I can tell. I'm kind of wondering if these objects they keep talking about, all these flying, of course, objects, could be something like we saw mentioned by our previous prez, where he had a speech saying what would unite us all if we had a common, of course, foe, something from another planet, then we could all unite together. And then we wouldn't have one of these world, WARs. Kind of curious. It makes me wonder if that might have... And actually, when he's talking there, he's literally talking about the same country, the Ruslans. Again, that's who he was dealing with. That's who we're dealing with today. And it seems rather curious that's sort of the what we're now discussing in the latest stories of the day, right? And of course, on top of that, our wonderful and beloved prez has created a task, of course, force to deal with these unidentified, of course, objects. This is the latest thing that came out today. Wow. Thank you so much there. I don't know what to think about it. And there's also tons of videos over on Twitter. People are showing videos, and who knows which ones are what. They're saying this is where a jet was going, of course, after one of them. I don't know. You know what I mean? We have all these different videos coming out. People are sending in videos, putting them up, saying this is what they saw. And there's 4 objects at this point, obviously. But it kind of makes me wonder also if this is a distraction from real stories like the one we saw. Again, it relates to that movie from Netflix where essentially a train has been, derailed. And there's all these people talking online about this and even showing more videos of objects. But so we're seeing all these stories come out. I'm just kind of curious what you guys think about all this stuff. It just seems like, you really can't, when it comes to the outlets, it's like, it feels like they're always trying to direct you, trying to make you look at things that are irrelevant, trying to make you think the wrong things. There's no recession. There's no this, that, or the other. And it makes me all the more not want to listen to what they have to say at all, pretty much. I mean, at this point. And at any rate, so we're seeing all these different stories today. I'm just kind of wondering what some of you guys think about all of them. Again, like I said, in Ohio, we have animals that are having issues. Some of them are just, gone. They're no more. They're not, of course, living anymore. And I just showed you those fish as well. So we're seeing a lot of that, and people have been essentially told to leave from that area. I'm kind of wondering if some of the people also were, affected. But then we have this story as well, folks. The Ruslans are getting 500K of their finest and 1,800 of certain equipment to start up something bigger, folks, in 10 days. And this was on the 9th of February. Of course, it makes me also wonder if some of these things we've been seeing of recent happening here could be from them. I don't know. Maybe it has nothing to do with it. It just makes you wonder. You have all these stories that they don't seem to add up. There seems like there's a lot of them telling you to look this direction when you should be looking that direction. And again, like I said with this movie, it just really threw me through a loop, knowing that there were people that actually acted in this movie. And the movie is released about a week before it actually happened, the real, of course, event. Netflix movie here. And I can't remember this actor's name. He was in Star Wars. Wasn't he the guy that... Yeah, he was one of the guys in the latest Star Wars movie. He plays the father in that movie. But in this case, I mean, we have a story about a train, and we're talking, of course, in that state, Ohio. And the exact same thing happens. They have to leave, and this is what we're seeing today. And some of these actors that were in that movie had to leave. So they literally lived through what they lived through in a movie. And what's amazing about this also is we've seen this happen before. This isn't the first time. There was a book written about the Titanic. And in that book, the author of the book, wrote a book a few years before the Titanic happened. And he called his boat the Titan instead of the Titanic. And it was in the same area of the ocean. The same exact thing happened. The ship went down. He wrote this book a few years before it actually happened, the real thing. He happened to be one of the guests on the Titanic, the guy who wrote the book. So it's like literally the exact same thing as this movie. You have actors that were in the movie living through the story that was in the movie. And you have like the guy who wrote the book, and you have even Ernest Hemingway. And there's actually other authors and actors that have lived through things that they've done in movies. Robin Williams, there's also Ernest Hemingway. He wrote a book about a certain story, and he literally lived through the exact same thing. And that was the cause of him not being around anymore. So this isn't the first time. You see this happen multiple times in the past. It makes you kind of wonder if it's just some weird coinky-dink. Kind of doubt it. Kind of wonder what some of you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.